Morning, masters. Let's do a quick 30-second meditation. Let's quickly close your eyes. Sit comfortably. Connect to our inner selves. Today, I'm going to present Awareness book written by, shared by Master Osho. Let's wish. Be present astrally, and give us the wisdom. Okay, now you can gently open your eyes. So, hope you can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, great. So, this book is written by, shared by Osho. We all know Osho. He's a great master. He has transformed millions of people into spirituality, especially the Western part as well. So yes, I started reading this book, I think 3-4 years ago, but a lot of information I have learned, and I am today here as a part of our book club of UK, PSSM UK. So sharing this with you all. So awareness, the key to living in balance. It's a book review by me, Rajshekhar. Thank you, masters, for this. So let's get into this. So awareness is the key to living in balance is a book about mindfulness by the controversial spiritual teacher Osho. Who is this awareness for? Anyone interested in living a more carefree, spontaneous life? Anyone who is going through a really hard time right now? Anyone struggling to find purpose and happiness in life? Right? And also who are masters in the co-creators who transformed all this. So joining here. So welcome all. Okay. So what is awareness? Awareness means that whatsoever is happening in the moment is happening with complete consciousness. You are present there. Okay. Silence is the space in which one awakens, and the noisy mind is the space in which one remains asleep. If your mind continues chattering, you are asleep. So these are all Osho words, the important points I have extracted, which are really key to our transformation. You are just living in a small corner of your being, the tiny conscious mind. It is as if somebody has a palace and has completely forgotten about the palace and has started living on the couch and thinks this is all. The more watchful we become, the more all your hastiness slows down. You become more graceful. As you watch, your chattering mind chatters less, because the energy that was becoming chattering is turning and becoming watchfulness. It is the same energy. You cannot be just so. You cannot be just lukewarm. It is not going to help. Lukewarm water cannot evaporate, and lukewarm efforts to be alert are bound to fail. transformation happens only when you put total energy into it. So friends, let's try to understand the awareness, right? So we be totally in the center and in a listening mode, okay? So we have to connect our inner self and total silence. So anywhere you have doubts, just ask after in between somewhere, but I'll just continue. So the important point is lukewarm state means, lukewarm state of water is won't be boil, evaporate. Likewise, the transformation of water into vapor won't happen, right? So we have to be hit completely into the present mode, right? Present sense, self. If in life, if anybody wanted to transform their lives, like struggling, the thing is, we should be present and consciously be aware of our 100%, and don't be like a small corner of our being, like I'm very small, that victim consciousness. So we have to transform that. So that happens with our way of understanding. So this kind of awareness is very important to activate in our being. Okay, if we haven't activated or haven't aware of this topic, just with the Osho's message, get this understanding improved. So negative emotions. So in awareness, jealousy never arises. In awareness, many things simply disappear. All the things that are negative, it is just like a light. When the light is in your home, you can, how can darkness exist there? It simply escapes. How can you stumble? You can always find the door in the light. So when awareness is there, these negative emotions, there is no room for it, right? When there is no awareness, these emotions will be there in certain levels in our being, right? There is always a room for activating our inner self. We have some percentage of all these emotions, right? The more spiritual we are transforming our lives with the great energy, daily meditations, but these energies, these negative emotions, right? We have to identify first with awareness only. Oh, I'm here, I have this a little bit, I have this a little bit. So with awareness, all this can, first understand ourselves better. Wakefulness is a way to life. The fool sleeps as if he were already dead, but the master is awake and he lives forever. Don't eat mechanically, watch it, then food is tasty. The more you watch, the hastiness slows down, you become more graceful. Transformation only happens when you put total energy into it. Okay, friends, so now I continue. The roots of suffering is another topic. We are continuously contradicting ourselves each moment. Action goes in one direction, thinking goes in another direction, feeling is somewhere else. We go on falling apart. We become more and more fragmented. That's what misery is. We lose integration, we lose unity. The first step in awareness is to be watchful of your body. And as you become aware, a miracle starts happening. Many things that you used to do before simply disappear, which are unconsciously used to do. Your body becomes more relaxed, your body becomes more attuned, right? So we should start being aware of our body, like eating, for example. Don't eat just like that, but eat slowly and with observation, right? That's mindfulness practice. What you have done in your past, can you exactly recollect it? Why you did what you did? What happened to you? Were you alert when it was happening? So these are the contemplations completion process. right? During the meditation also, you can question these things. The original word sin means to miss. It doesn't mean to commit something wrong. It simply means to miss, to be absent, to do something without being present. This is the only sin. So it's very important. After we do mistake, we think that that's a sin. But thing is, we miss to be there in the presence, right? Love will make the beloved more and more free. Love will give wings, and love will open the vast sky. It cannot become a prison, an enclosure. But that quality of love comes only when there is awareness. Even for love, we say we should love all, but we cannot, not everybody can love all, right? Somebody will hate some people or some beings, animals also. So how the love comes actually? So we have to activate our awareness, then completely from darkness to light, we're shifting. So you can be in the present, but you cannot think. For thinking, space is needed. Thoughts need space. They are just like things. Remember it. Thoughts are subtle things. They are material. The dimension of the spiritual starts only when there are no thoughts. Awareness means to be in the moment. So totally that there is no movement toward the past, no movement toward the future. All movement stops, right? So we don't go to past or future. We just be in the present. So no thoughts, right? Being in no thought state. So these are the very key points, as most of you have heard, but here and there we have to be in that total presence, friends, to take this information. Eyes are just windows. They cannot see unless you see through them. How can a window see? You have to stand at the window, only then can you see. Control is a poor substitute of awareness. A very poor substitute. It doesn't help much. If you are aware, you need not control anger. In awareness, anger never arises. They cannot exist together. So what it means is we control. We say that, unconsciously say these words, but even we have to be careful on our words we spell also. So we cannot control our anger, right? So we say that counting 10, okay, that is temporarily bringing back to unconsciousness mode, to back to our center. So that will allow some techniques like that, but it's not really controlling, right? So we have to be aware, okay, I am losing my conscious, to be present, that kind of exercise. So once you start living this with awareness, it's like we are living totally. Acts don't mean anything. Your awareness, your being conscious, mindful is what matters. What you do is not the concern. Dreams are private. Whatsoever is private, remember it must belong to the world of dreams, mind, which is mind. Truth is an open sky. It is for all. It is one. One has to renounce private world of dreams, that is mind. That is sannyas for Osho, the renouncing part of mind. The old sannyas was leaving this world, the visible. One goes to the Himalayas, leaves the wife and children. That is not the point at all. The real world that has to be renounced is the mind, the private dreaming world. If you renounce it, then even sitting in the market, you are in the Himalayas, right? Hope you understand this. So renouncing of our thoughts. So it's only our morning. right? We moan a lot about things, about people. Oh, why he or she done like that, But we should understand that, once we go to this awareness, your answers will come naturally. Otherwise, we fall in a trap. Awareness and centering. You are aware of many things, only unaware of one thing, and that is yourself. Whatsoever you are doing, go on doing one thing inside continuously. Be aware of yourself doing it. You are eating, be aware of yourself. You are walking, be aware of yourself. You are listening, speaking, be aware of yourself. When you are angry, be aware that you are angry. In the very moment that anger is there, be aware that you are angry. So once you are aware, oh, I am angry, then you don't fall, okay, I'm in anger now. Then you just withdraw. This is not the emotion I want to carry now. Like, it will naturally happen. So any emotion we are carrying in the life, that's why these practices, like what we do, eating, walking, listening, these things we naturally do. Then remember these words of what Osho said. Be in that awareness while acting, right? That's day by day, your meditation energy will help you to be in that awareness. The constant remembering of the self creates a subtle energy, a very subtle energy in you. Awareness is what makes you a master. And what I say a master, I do not mean a controller. When I say be a master, I mean be a presence, a continuous presence. Whatever you are doing or not doing, one thing must constantly in your consciousness that you are. The simple feeling of oneself, the one is, creates a center of inner mastery. It is an inner power. And when I say an inner power, I mean it literally. That is why the Buddhas talk about the fire of awareness. If you be aware, you begin to see new energy in you, a new life. Because of this new energy, many things that dominates you would dissolve. I repeat, many things that dominates you would dissolve. You don't have to fight with them. So there are some people or our surroundings where we fight a lot, right? We think that they are dominating us. So that energy we can just simply transform by going within the fire of an awareness, right? So when we are in that blissful awareness, naturally we do. The people, the scenarios, many things that dominates you will dissolve. So that is very interesting point. You have to fight with your anger, your greed, your jealousy, because you are weak. Weakness is the problem. Your energies become concentrated, crystallized on a single point, and a self is born. Remember, not an ego, but a self is born. Ego is a false sense of self. Without having any self, you go on behaving that you have a self, that is ego. It is difficult to be aware even for a single moment. The mind is constantly flickering, but it is not impossible. It is difficult, but it is not impossible. Awareness is a technique for centering oneself, for achieving the inner fire. It is there, hidden, it can be discovered. Your failures will be helpful. They can show you how unconscious you are. And even if you can become aware that you are unconscious, you have gained a certain awareness. If a madman becomes aware that he is mad, he is on the path of sanity. Okay, friends. So take these, life situations. Our life situation, my life situation only I have to take. I have a lot of work to do inner self, right? I have learned the wisdom. It's not just enough. It will come here, it will go. But the point to be taken is I have to work on these are a number of negative emotions, right? So when we connect with various people, we get different level of emotions. So even though we are in the path of meditation, it gives energy. So if you are not using to work out these patterns, then there is no life lesson. So all are interrelated. So you have to apply that awareness. Awareness is very important. And where you have to be observed that the wakefulness is always there. So that's why I like this book very much. The moment you say no problem is serious, the problem is almost 99%. The problem is almost 99% dead. Your whole vision changes about it. Analysis never helps anybody really. It is a sort of adjustment. It helps you to attain a little bit of understanding about your problems. And that little intellectual understanding helps you to adjust to the society better, but you remain the same person. There is no transformation through it. Witnessing will not change your conditioning. Like your religion, whatever your religion, your religious beliefs, male or female, etc. Witnessing will not change your body, musculature, but witnessing will give you an experience that you are beyond all musculature, all conditioning. In that moment of beyondness, in that moment of transcendence, no problem exists. So witnessing is important. So whenever a problem occurs, analysis won't take you to the core of it, right? So witnessing is, we have to activate with witness, do the analysis, right? Being a witness, then you'll see, okay, problem came. Again, as I said, yeah, we have to recall all those fully active, where into, oh, I am in that emotion. Oh, that's why I acted like that. So witness is very important to keep. Next, centering. A man can live in two ways. He can live from his periphery, that's a partial, or he can live from his center, which is total. The periphery belongs to ego and the center belongs to the being. If you live from the ego, you are always related with the other. Whatever you do is not an action, but it's a reaction. There is a story. Buddha is passing through a village and villagers don't like Buddha teaching, so they abused him, but he didn't say anything. He said he didn't take anything to the center. You can abuse me, that is up to you. I'm not a slave. I have become a free man, right? The moment you have a center, then you have a distance from yourself. You have a distance from your periphery. Someone can abuse your periphery, but not you. You can remain aloof, detached. So that we talk about a lot of detachment. So how this happen, right? So that's what these tips are useful. When the act is total from center, it is moment to moment. When the act is total, you don't carry the memory. You need not. You don't carry the past. That's memory means. You just act, just freely flowing in the life. So I'm continuing sharing, but we have to be very mindful of and total listening mode, friends. Osho's words are very deep. If you are getting understanding easily, that's really good. If something has remained unfinished during the day, then you will dream about it in the night. Oh, that's not done. How do I do like that? Because the mind tends to finish everything. The moment it is finished, the mind is unburdened from it. Unless it is finished, the mind is bound to come to it again and again. So that's a pattern we fall into. Thinking means bringing your past to the present. Witnessing means no past, just the present, no bringing in of the past. When I eat, I simply eat. When I sleep, I simply sleep. The act is total in awareness. So there is a relation to the karma topic here. So there are two types of living, right? Thinking, basically thinking means mind level or peripheral, or witnessing or being in total. The two ways. When we living in witness, we have more soul lessons we can take, immediately we will understand. We connect to the nature, the non-local mind, to the universe we connect, and we understand a lot of information, what's happening in the world. We need not listen to the media. We connect to our meditation, we connect to the universe. So what the relation between karma is, we create a lot of karma, right, by doing. But when we do things without, karma means attachment. Without attaching, we can connect to a lot of people or things, but we don't create karma. We consciously know, oh, I am creating because I am. When we are in witness mode, we can observe all those. So that way we can be living smart human. We can become a smart human, means enlightened being, we can say, or in a modern terms, we can say smart human. So we don't create karma, right? So waste of time. We have to come again and fulfill it. So that's a different story. When I eat, I simply eat. When I sleep, I simply sleep. When I act in total awareness. Ego is just accumulated past. The ego is your thought, condensed, crystallized. So the more thoughts you have, the more ego you have. So there is nothing wrong. If I have ego, I have to understand how much ego I have. I mean, it's not, don't understand when we in that space of periphery. If you're not understanding, just go to meditation. That will take you to inner space at least. That way we get more subtle energy within us, that fire always lit. There are two kinds of tension, the body tensions and the mind tensions. Both have to be released before you can start relaxation. Which will bring you to awareness. But beginning from awareness is far easier. Particularly for those who can understand the process. Sitting in a public bus or in a railway train, when you have nothing to do, just close your eyes. It will save your eyes from being tired from looking outside, and it will give you time enough to watch yourself. Those moments will become moments of the most beautiful experiences. And slowly, as awareness grows, your whole personality starts changing. Your unawareness to awareness is the greatest quantum leap. So these are the exercises, friends. So the tip is close your eyes, be aware. To be aware, we need not always close our eyes, but because we are constantly, eyes are looking means it's more prone to fall in those traps of outside, looking out, okay, here and there, and our thought process keep on saying something, especially when we have nothing to do or having a more space. It's important to habituate these kind of awareness exercises. Like, so let's say morning you do meditation for 40 minutes, 1 hour. In the mid of the day, 11 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 6 o'clock, again, like that, set up your, keep a habit, close your eyes, be totally centered and relax. That, as Kushal said, body tensions you have to release and the mind tensions you have to release. The mind tensions you can release by looking at this place, right? Just release. If it is tight, usually what happens, that's from my experience, thoughts are coming. When thoughts are there, this become tighter. Just release it. Just have a affirmation that release all my tensions. Here you will see lighten. Deep sleep and meditation have something similar and something different. One thing is similar in both. thinking disappears. One thing dissimilar in deep sleep, awareness also disappears, but in meditation, it remains. Meditation means remaining as relaxed as you are in deep sleep and yet alert, keeping awareness there. Let thoughts disappear, but awareness has to be retained. And this is not difficult. It is just that we have not tried that. That's all. When you look into a mind deeper, it disappears. Then there are thoughts. But when the mind has disappeared and only individual thoughts exist, you come to know that thoughts are like clouds. They come and go, and you are the sky. So when you are in awareness space, thoughts keep on going, right? They can come and go, but you are not attached to that. Okay, it is a cloud going. You just attach to that past memory, so that won't happen. You just watch. Okay, that's going. Even thoughts comes in meditation. So that happens, but the more awareness you maintain, even the thoughts won't disturb us. Be like a lotus. That's all. Remain untouched, and you are in total control. Remain untouched, and you are a master. Mind is a disturbance of consciousness, just as the waves are disturbance of the ocean. There are no waves in the depths of ocean, right? The whole of science of meditation is nothing but centering, moving toward the center, getting rooted there, abiding there. And from there, the whole perspective changes. How to get rid of the memories? Watch them, witness them. And always remember that this has happened to me, but this is not me. So this kind of improvement will come, the past attachments, right? We have to, some people may be having a lot of memories, always be mourning about, or simply, the simple way to understand is if you are so much in pain, or if you are not happy, simply, right? If you're not happy with something, somebody, or maybe not you, but you are in spiritual path, maybe some associated family members, we can see those patterns. So they'll be in that struggle. So these tips, they have to be watchful, but slowly only meditation, at least, bring them into transformation process. It gives the energy to be aware of that. And those patterns will slowly reduce. In that emptiness, when everything that was not you has been thrown out, suddenly your being surfaces. For the first time, you encounter yourself, and that encounter becomes the mastery. You have to see yourself masters. There is something within. You have come here for. Naturally happens. It's not, we just need to tap into it. Don't be a fighter, be a lover. Mind is one of the most beautiful mechanisms. Science has not yet been able to create anything parallel to it. Mind remains the masterpiece, so complicated, so tremendously powerful, with so many potentialities. Watch it, enjoy it. So mind is a tool, so we have to watch it so that we can better control from the inner awareness, from our originality. The modern mind is in much hurry. It wants instant methods for stopping the mind. Hence, drugs have appeal. You can force the mind to stop by using chemical drugs, but you are being violent with the mechanism. It is destructive. In this way, you are not going to become a master. So friends, if we are not doing meditation in life, that means we are going in the wrong ways of this, getting caught in this kind of negative emotion. I see a lot of my friends, who, so people I observe, even myself, if I don't do in the meditation path, some days if I skip, I can see that naturally we go into those periphery from the center. That energy is needed to hold that awareness. If not, what happens? We go to that patterns and we fall into some trap, and we are wasting the life, right? Bodies are separate, minds minds overlapping, and souls are one. I don't have a different soul, and you don't have a different soul. At the very center of existence, we meet and are one. That's what God is, the meeting point of all. So that centerness, it means we are activating our Godhood, right? The divine vibration, and we all are one in that space. You feel good, you feel bad, and these feelings are bubbling from your unconsciousness, from your own past. Nobody is responsible except you. Nobody can make you angry, and nobody can make you happy. It's all our vibration, how you want it to be, right? So we will talk about awareness in action, ways to improve. A man who is asleep cannot be total in anything. You are eating, you are not totally there. You are thinking 1,001 things. You are dreaming 1,001 dreams. You are just stuffing yourself mechanically. You may be making love to your woman or to a man, and you are not totally there. You may be thinking of other woman, making love of your wife and thinking of some other woman. I mean, these are Osho, so he talks like that. Or he may be thinking, go to the market, or for the price of things that you want to purchase, or of a car, or a lot of a house, or of 1,001 things. You are making love mechanical. These are all mechanical, friends. See, this all happens, right? So this kind of mechanical life will happen. The totality is not there, right? So being total, your acts, and if you are total, you have to be aware. Nobody can be total without being aware. Being total means no other thinking. If you are eating, you're simply eating. If you are totally here now, the eating is all. You are not just stuffing yourself, you are enjoying it. Body, mind, soul are in tune while you are eating, and there is a harmony, a deep rhythm. In all three layers of your being, the eating becomes meditation. Walking becomes meditation. Chopping wood becomes meditation. Small things are transformed. They become luminous acts. So first, once we totally come into this awareness concept, what happens, whatever we are doing, whatever we are mechanical areas, come into awareness, the fire of awareness, and then suddenly the act will change, friends. So we completely change our decision. Oh, I used to be like this when it comes. So now I do like this. So people around us suddenly wonders, oh, why this person, this was his pattern. Because we are not patternized, we are dynamic people. We can do anything. They may surprise, but we are doing according to our inner message. What is the right thing to do, right? That's what, if you are in the technology, the next best action. If you are enterprise, one of the enterprise operations or running enterprises, at least some part of it, you will be dynamic. So whenever we say he has a silent mind, it's a nonsense. A mind can never be silent. The very being of mind is anti-silent. Mind is sounds, not silence. If a person is really silent, then we must say that he has no mind. So these words, we have to be very mindful while talking. We have to say no mind, which is in that awareness state. When the mind is not, when the being is totally silent, the body flows like a shadow. The body takes a particular posture, the most relaxed possible, the most passive possible, but you cannot do it other way around. You cannot take a posture fast and then make silence follow, right? So silence means there is a, we have to go decide first, get centered, then silence will follow. Example, when we get angry, we are anger inside first, then body takes a certain posture. Face has certain expression, but not other way around. If you keep expression, the body posture, you won't get anger, right? So if I have to anger, I should get connected to some emotion. Then only my angry face will come. My body posture will be like a fighting mode. If I put like this and I'm smiling, or that inner is not like that. So anything has to come from within. If you are not silent, if you don't know how to sit silently or stand silently, in deep meditation, sorry, I repeat, if you are not silent, if you don't know how to sit silently or stand silently in deep meditation, whatsoever you go on doing is reaction, not an action. You react, somebody insults you, pushes a button, and you react. When somebody insults you, you have to become a receiver. You have to accept what he says. Only then can you react. But if you don't accept, if you simply remain detached, if you keep the distance, you can remain cool. What can he do, right? So, things to watching should lead you into action, a new kind of action. A new quality is brought to action. You watch, you are utterly quiet and silent. You see what the situation is, and out of that seeing, you respond. And the man of awareness responds, is responsible literally. Buddha said, somebody can throw a burning torch into the river. It will remain alight till it reaches the river. The moment it falls into the river, all fire is gone. The river cools it. I have become a river. You throw abuses at me, they are fire when you throw them. But the moment they reach me in my coolness, the fire is lost. They no longer hurt. You throw thorns, falling in my silence, they become flowers. I act out of my intrinsic nature. This is spontaneity. The man of awareness understanding acts. The man who is unaware, unconscious, mechanical, robot-like reacts. So, friends, if think about see our pattern of life in a day or a couple of weeks, just see how much time we are reacting. So there is a work we need to do on those reactions. When you react moment to moment out of your awareness and watchfulness, great intelligence arises. You start shining, glowing, you become luminous, but it happens through two things: watching and action out of that watching. If watching becomes an action, you are committing suicide. So we have to take action from our watchfulness. Then that is the right action for useful for us. The same watchfulness two people will have. My direction is different because my inner says something, and some other person different direction. So they have to act on it. Don't just be afraid of not doing inaction. Just we have to act on what inner says. Silence makes a mirror out of your consciousness, and then you function moment to moment. You react, you reflect life. You don't carry an album within your head. Then your eyes are clear and innocent. You have clarity. You have vision, and you are never untrue to life. This is authentic living. The knowledgeable man is the most blind man in the world because he functions out of his knowledge. He does not see what the case is. He simply goes on functioning mechanically. He has learned something. It has become a ready-made mechanism in him, and he acts out of it. This is a very important point, friends. Knowledgeable means we think that knowledge is everything, but in the world of spirituality, awareness is the key. With awareness, the knowledge is like predictive information. Like we predict some things may, in this situation in the past, these many number of people came, for example. We take decisions out of predictability, right? So that pattern is just out of knowledge. That is also mechanical living. This is very important. So we have to always refresh. With awareness, we can judge, we can understand, oh no, this is from knowledge. This may not be appropriate to this situation. It is the nature of the mind to be in middle of polar opposites. Unless you move away from the mind and become witness to all the games of the mind, he will never be decisive. Remember one thing: make every moment complete. Live every moment as if there is no other moment to come. Then only will you complete it. Know that death can occur at any time. This may be the last. So always live like this is the last moment of my life. Just live. Now I'll keep it for tomorrow. Just even though that is practical, just be in the present and live the best life. There is a lot of information in this same statement. Remember one thing: make every moment complete. Live every moment as if there is no other moment to come. So then the phenomena changes, friends. The way we talk to others will be very friendly, because next moment is not there. Why should I create all this, agitation, hastiness? Just be friendly as possible, because give something to others. And then those are all flow naturally. Then only will you complete it. The completion of any task, we have to be in the awareness. Otherwise, we do something, we keep on doing mobile, and eyes are looking somewhere. I'm listening to you. We are listening to somebody, and that won't work because that's not complete. That task won't complete. We will forget something. So you have to present. Okay, I complete listening. Okay, now I have to send some message. Okay, then I have to see something. Okay. Likewise, do one after other. No rush. To be aware continuously that death is possible any moment. To be aware continuously that death is possible any moment. With this principle, one lives every moment as much as possible. Postponing becomes an inner dialogue, an inner monologue. Do not postpone. Do not postpone, Osho says. Live right here and now. And the more you live in the present, the less you will need this constant minding, this constant thinking. That which you have missed, you go on thinking, you will catch somewhere in the future. You are not going to catch it. This constant tension between the past and future, this constant missing of the present, is the inner noise. So the first thing, try to be total every moment. The second thing, your mind is so noisy because you always go on thinking that others are creating it, that you are not responsible. You can create an illusion that somewhere heaven exists, right? But everywhere it is hell. So these are the thoughts. With this type of mind, everywhere is hell. The mind is hell. So yeah, just contemplate. We have a couple of slides. We are finishing. One day, Maulana Nasruddin, there is a story. and his wife came home to their house late in the night. The house had been burglarized, so the wife began to scream and cry. Then she said to Mala, "You are the fault. Why didn't you check the lock before we left?" By then, whole neighborhood had come around. It was such a sensation. Mala's house had been burglarized, always expecting it. Why didn't you expect it? You are careless. The second said, your windows were open. Why don't you close them before you left the house? The third said, your locks appear to be faulty. Why didn't you replace them? And everyone was pouring faults on Mala Nasruddin. Mala said, it's not my fault. It's thief's fault. For a seeker, this mind is of no help. It is a hindrance. The mind is the hindrance. We must realize that whatever the situation is, whatever the case is with you, you are responsible and no one else. If you are responsible, then something is possible, right? So take responsibility rather than throwing away. Just take the responsibility. Okay, there is my fault somewhere. I need to work on it, right? Next time you don't repeat that. Then there is a transformation there. Otherwise, if you're showing in a blaming game, then same scenario will happen again. What if there is another day? That's it. Character is needed by those who don't have consciousness. Character is needed by those who don't have consciousness. If you have eyes, you don't need to. You need a walking stick to find your way, to group your way around. If you can see, you don't ask others where is the door. No. Likewise, character means you have a certain ready-made answer for all the questions of life. So whenever a situation arises, you respond according to that set pattern. Because you respond according to the ready-made answer. It is not the true response. It is only a reaction. So this very small gap here with this understanding. We think that character-wise, we are dominating the situation. Okay, that's fine. But what's the point? Am I acting from my mechanical perspective, or is it? Again, every point before saying, you have to see through the eyes of third eye, or you have to say, be total and act. Oh yeah, this is right in this situation. Just acknowledge, just confirm. Then there is a space comes between thought to thought. You are creating that space. Otherwise, a proliferation of thought chain will come. Then we will fall into that trap again. So when we added awareness, that space will come between thoughts. Then you always validate that, yes, this is the right thing to say. Character is painting the circumference. Consciousness is transformation of the center, right? Character is just painting outside, like I am disguising something, which is not me. Consciousness is a transformation of center. So with consciousness, I'm transforming, actually resonating true nature of my being. Consciousness, conscience is a trick played upon you by others. Others are telling you what is right, what is wrong. Buddhas teach you consciousness, your consciousness. Buddha teach you consciousness, not conscience. When you bring light into your room, you don't have to push the darkness out. The presence of light is enough, because darkness is only absence of light. If somebody you are not conscience. Conscience means somebody is telling you are this, you are that, and we think that I am that, I am very limited. Somebody says that you are extraordinary. That's fine. You are a mega pillar of this world. Okay, I'm ready. I'm thinking, again, that's also fast. You have to validate up to what extent your consciousness is telling to act, right? You are a co-creator. You have to be valuable in every space. So We always thinking what others are saying, you're big, you're small. Okay, both you have to balance what is right, what is really me. That's a consciousness. Don't as Buddha said. Okay, first couple of slides. The man of awareness is not only a good man, he is much more. For the good man, goodness is all. For the man of awareness, goodness is just a byproduct. See, this is very interesting. The man of awareness is not only a good man, he is much more. For the good man, goodness is all. The man of awareness, for the man of awareness, goodness is just a byproduct. The good man can change into a bad man easily without any effort because all those bad qualities are there, only dormant, repressed with effort. If he removes the effort, they will immediately erupt in his life. So good being, acting good means is acting from a periphery again. That the bad things are not gone away; they are dormant. They will come up when such people come around. So that's why being aware is very important. There is only one way to transcend the good man, and that is by bringing more awareness to your being. Awareness is not something to be cultivated; it is already there. It has to be awakened. Religions have been teaching you to be good, so that one day you can find God. That is not possible. No good man has ever found godliness. I'm teaching just the reverse. Find godliness, and good will come on its own accord. And when good comes on its own accord, it has a beauty, a grace, a simplicity, a humbleness. It does not ask you for any reward here or hereafter. It is its own accord. It's its own reward. At the center, you are already a Buddha, one who has already arrived home, one who has already arrived home. On the periphery, you are in the world, in the mind, in the dreams, in desires, in anxieties, in 1,001 games. And you are both. A man of awareness and understanding moves from periphery to the center, from the center to periphery, from the marketplace to the monastery, and from being extrovert to being introvert. He continuously goes on moving because these two things are his waves. They are not against each other. So man of awareness can balance it things. Each day, if you want to become balanced, you should balance the outer and the inner. They should carry the same weight so that inside you never become lopsided. This is the meaning when Zen masters say, walk in the river, but don't allow the water to touch your feet. So completely in detached mode, we have to live. So hope I managed to express what Osho is trying to say, and to add my contemporary experiences in a very small manner, not to distract what Osho is trying to say. That's it, Masters. Thank you so much for listening so patiently. Hope everything is clear now. And please share, Meenaji, others, please share your views. Any questions now we can take. I can take.
Yeah, it's very, very wonderful topic. But this topic, I know it's a bit hard to explain and put into words. That to Osho's in-depth knowledge and wisdom which he has given, it's very hard to put into what you have put into simplest form, and the beautiful PPT as well. And past is where you learn the lesson, future is where you apply the lesson. That's beautiful. Actually, we carry most of the emotional baggage and everything in the past, and how we behave most of the time, it's from the past experiences. But what Osho has given, very beautiful. Future is where you apply the lesson. That means take the lessons from the past. He says that. And whatever you have explained, be aware and all, it's realistically, sometimes it's not possible for all of us to put into practical in day-to-day life, especially many times we, I know the impact, but sometimes you'll be a little bit aggressive in times, and being aware is that where to show your aggressiveness and where not to show. That's what is for me is awareness. And can you please explain a little bit more on, yes, we all do meditate every day, mornings, evenings, and we are aware, we are mindful, but sometimes at times we suddenly trigger something in us and we will be like, of course it might have happened with everyone else, we'll be in a situation that you will be angry at that moment, and also sometimes we feel that, okay, I should have not done that. Can you please elaborate on that, what Osho, if at all, he has explained in that book about these situations?
Yes. I think he has spoken about anger. So that is what we have to work out our trigger emotions and all, right? So triggering happens at with certain people, let's say, right? So at certain situation, when 5 people gather, then that trigger happens, right? Because see, those things we have to observe. People means those are certain frequencies. So some people can withstand up to certain frequency of energy of others. So some people can extend their energy. So can face others, right? Can balance that situation. So we of course, the more we energy meditation we are doing, we are day by day growing, and right. But the consciousness increases, and also we can handle situations better. So if trigger happens, what we need to do is, at any level of frequency of gathering people, we have to go within and recall the situation, the people, right? What is a better expression we can make, right? For example, in that situation of 5 people gathering, I become angry. What is a better expression I can create? I can smile and be silent. Or there are many things inner says, right? The solution is again from within you. Once you lit that inner fire, go to that presence totality, the answer will come. Okay, next time be silent, right? For some days, again answer will come and say, they give this message. So that likewise, we have to work out our inner emotion. There are n number of emotions, but we cannot say that I am enlightened, I don't have any emotion. No, it's not like that. We are a human being. We carry everything, but they are dormant. So, but we have to work out, right? We always have a choice between being a sad man or a happy man. But consciously we go this way. Whenever the angriness is coming, we are aware. Okay, total. Oh, why are you coming? Just relax. Just handle this with a smooth way. We have choice either way. We can just say harsh way. We can just settle that to point. We can dominate scenario. But there is a joyful way to handle also. Oh, I can also have this option. So this understanding, if you are in that situation, like periphery, any angry happening means we are in periphery. We are acting from periphery mechanically. We don't know that. That is some from our past lives, subconsciously is there. But that is the moment we can transform ourselves. So what we have to do, be silent. So immediate message is be silent when you're getting angry. Be aware fast. Oh, I'm in anger, be silent. I'll think about it. I'll work out it. With the people, how do you handle? Okay, I'll come back. Nobody's going to run away when you say that. Yeah. Likewise, you handling the management of situations. That's how it is.
Yeah. Thank you. Very beautifully explained. And also Osho says, let your emotions flow. Don't control your emotions, right? So if we see some people are always in that trigger mode and angry mode. If we say, though they meditate and they are on the spiritual path, we can see them always in that angry path. If we question them, it will be like, okay, your emotions are that way. You see everywhere the same. So these type of answers we get in from the different people. And I don't know how to handle all this, but Osho has given a beautifully book. I'm going to get this book and read. Thank you very much for putting this in a simpler form. Thank you.
Thank you, Meenaji. Thank you. Thank you, friends. Any thoughts? I know we are all practicing meditation, most of us. Any self experiences do you want to add? I can also listen.
Yeah, thanks, Rajshekhar. It's a wonderful, wonderful book which I've read a few years ago, and this is the book. It always, develops awareness every time you read the book. And yeah, when someone asks like, what is meditation? Meditation is awareness. It is awareness, and it is not that when you read this book and when you do meditation, you will have the awareness. You will become awareness. When you become awareness, you will be able to see all the emotions, and you will be witnessing those emotions, and you are not reacting out of it. So many people, and what I've experienced in the past, whoever going through a confused state and having a lot of questions and in an agitated state. So when they read this book, they are simply becoming aware. It's not that they are developing the awareness, they're becoming the awareness. So they are just seeing, they are witnessing. So this is what it happened a few years ago when I read this. And everything, that's why, when we read the books, we connect to the energies of the author, energies of that particular, concept or whatever it is. Then you become that. So that energies will be there for some time, and then slowly you get into the normal life and your mind takes the control. That's when we react and we get the anger, and we react, and instead of responding, we fight, we argue, we debate. So it's lack of awareness, and whatever the awareness we are gaining through meditation in the morning or evening, whenever it is, so it is only sustaining for some time. So in order to continue, in order to have that awareness for longer times, it's not only meditation in the morning, or not only with closed eyes, with open eyes also we should be doing the meditation. Meditation is awareness. Meditation means awareness. So it is a really wonderful book, and the last statement is very profound, right? So for a good person is just a good. The person who is in who is aware of everything, goodness is like just a byproduct. So everything, whatever when you are in the space of, when you are resting in awareness and when you become the awareness, so everything is a byproduct. Everything is a byproduct. And it is not bad that having the emotions, having the anger, having the whatever the feelings you are having, and maybe depressed, sad, whatever it is at certain points, its witnessing is important. And enlightened masters, don't they have the anger? They do, but they are uh, responding in an anger way, and it's completely in awareness. And the anger that the people like us, who were not enlightened or who were in the path of enlightenment, or is walking in this path of enlightenment, we are we are still not acting out of awareness. It is out of unawareness. So for that, it's a daily practice, a continuous practice. It's not one after morning 40 minutes, evening 40 minutes, or whenever we read a book, or whenever we listen to some motivational speech. It's like every minute, every moment is the practice. So yeah, it's a wonderful book, and and thank you so much for putting those slides together. They are very touching, and they are like kind of going into the uh, consciousness. And definitely even listening to this, and it definitely develops, and it's thought provoking and develops that awareness in everyone. And I strongly suggest everyone to read this book. Even my one of my cousin, he was going through a tough phase, very tough phase, and almost kind of kind of what is the point of this life. And then he read this book, Awareness, and he became so calm, because he became the awareness when he was reading the book. And that's why, like, he came into the consciousness, and then he became, a normal person. So yeah. And about others, if someone is not, kind of, if you're not in a position to, if you're not able to explain them, or if you're not able to convince them about the meditation or whatever it is, it's just that our job is to um, give the information. Our job is to spread the awareness. That's all. And rest is up to them. And we have to witness that also. And we should not feel bad about others not following. And we have to witness that also. In this awareness that happens, you witness everything. You witness it as a drama. You witness it as a, kind of a process. So thank you so much, Shekhar, once again. I really enjoyed whatever the part I have attended in the last few minutes.
Yeah, I have a question here.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What's the difference it makes if everyone are getting angry? Because meditators even get angry. Who don't meditate as well, they are angry as well. And what difference it makes in both? It's, yeah, please.
So yeah, so if basically, see, meditators getting angry is also out of unawareness. If it is out of unawareness, there is no difference. If it is in awareness, to make something, what do you call, let's say your kid is not kind of doing something which is harmful to them, so you will become angry because you want to teach them that is, putting the hand in the fire, it will burn, right? So that angry is like with full awareness. And even meditators is getting angry out of unawareness, then there is no difference. It's just that you are not in a meditative state, as simple as that. So yeah, so but it's just the practice, right? So the another difference I can tell is, you get angry in meditators, whoever meditators, they're getting angry, how soon they are coming back to normal is very less. The time is very less. In non-meditators, the time is more, and they continue for days, months, years, and lifetimes. One of my, my dad's brother, he was having angry on his family members, and he did not even talk until his death. And even on his deathbed, he's still carrying, and he will still carry in his next lifetime. See the difference. He's not a meditator, but as a meditator, you forgive others' action, and you forgive yours action, because we have done at a particular time, with the wisdom we have, with the knowledge we have. And we kind of think, oh, okay, that's fine. 10 years ago, I was like this and I've done this. It's okay. Now, fine. And literally, I went to the people, whoever I had a fight with. I went to them. I told them sorry, and whatever happened. And I'm so much of gratitude. I can express so much of gratitude to them. And they kind of so became so close friends to me now, because you are acting out of awareness here. Right, so that is the difference between meditators angry and non-meditators angry.
Yeah. We all get emotions, but what next moment? What are you doing with that emotion? If you're angry, are you breaking things? Are you doing something else? Are you damaging something? Or how you are behaving? Are you coming back to your normal state after that emotion? Is what is we see differences in both, right? Thank you very much.
Yeah. So first of all, thanks Ravi Garu for wonderful explanation of the very conscious points. You said 4 points, very clearly expressed. Living and thanks for sharing the experiences of others. Following this concept of understanding the concept of awareness and living that awareness. Right. That's what the essence of it. Yeah, Minaji, for your question, I would like to add a bit. The emotions, so there are 2 types, right? If you want to break things, okay, in general, break it, that's fine. So then later in the meditation, at least realize that it happened, right? Okay, so then if that situation happens, we break again. So that's what happens, right? If there are 365 days, if it's happening daily, you break 365 times. But if that is happy, mechanical life, go for it. But there is a choice of coming back to meditation. Some people say life is boring. Is it all? but they should understand that there is a different life. They didn't understand the awareness, right? Then they didn't understand meditation. They think that periphery, again, meditation learning also, periphery, oh, I learned everything, I am the super master now. That's also periphery. So that mechanical life won't, predictive life won't, because he didn't understand, or he or she didn't understand yet. The thing is, how to go within. To that you might need sadhana. So for my life, through grace of my choice, my master's support, I come to this light world. Patri sir, I met. I just followed his message. Do meditate. I did 6 months of meditation. 6 months, my thoughts are like bombarding. After 6 months, it's like a beautiful. I am entering in a beautiful world, beautiful light. And from that day, it's very peaceful. And I'm working on this. Any book I comes into my life, I'm not just reading. I'm practically applying those. The Osho, I read this book like 3-4 years ago, but still I'm applying these subjects, tips everywhere in my living life. So likewise, yeah, I think I wish everybody does, then the more and more awareness, because I realize that a lot of unconsciousness in me still. Life is going happily, more joyful every moment. But those who can't control emotion, just leave the emotion. That's fine. That's a way of one way. Then later, don't forget to come back and bounce back aspect, right? When the next time that emotion happens, what is my reaction? Even that reaction you define as consciously, then that will become response. And thanks for that. And Sri Lakshmi Garu, Sri Mani.
Yeah, thank you, Rajshekhar. Wonderful, wonderful session. And I'm now tempted to read this book. I haven't read it, but just wanted to say, somebody, when I asked what enlightenment is, I can't remember who, but actually their answer was being in awareness. So the definition of enlightenment, according to him, was always being in that awareness state. So I just thought I'll share that. And the other one was Meenaji asked, like, difference between anger in meditators and non-meditators. From my point of view, how I look at it is, when meditators become angry, it's a choice. They become angry because they want to. They have a choice not to and to. And they choose to get angry, but it is because of a choice they have. They realize they have a choice of not to, but for whatever circumstance, it's a decision they have taken to become angry. But that is, in non-meditators, involuntary action of getting that emotion and showing that emotion. So again, when we have a choice, I mean, it starts initially by realizing we have a choice and we are making that choice. And eventually when we realize, okay, I have a different choice as well, and I can always choose the other one, that's when we start becoming less and less of that. But I think as we meditate and become aware of our emotions, it's the choice that we get. And in my own personal circumstance, I can tell I am aware of that choice, but sometimes I still choose to become angry because those emotions, I have to vent it out. And I have to tell people, yes, I'm still a human being. So I just wanted to, again, put that out, that it's a choice in meditators to become angry, and they can choose to be or not to be.
Yeah, thanks a lot for wishing. And the points you've spoken are very deep. And yeah, choice will be there because a lot of conditioning is there. Others, how they take is irrelevant. What we decided from our center, we have to express. The people may disagree around us sometimes. So then we have to be saying, because there are some disturbance from low conscious people around, let's say, then they keep on asking why you do this, why you do this, that is disturbing, constant disturbance. Like if you get 20 messages of the same person, it's like irritating, right? So then we have to act for those people that loving kindness, they are not ready to take that love, what others give, higher masters or enlightened masters give in their lives. They are not ready to receive love also. So they want abuse or hard way to explain. And that's fine sometimes, but yeah, we masters, meditators understand that by angry, how much energy I'm losing, right? Those are all the aspects. And yeah, one thing is, bottom line is, choice is very key important, and choose love. from loving kindness, if you are showing a kindness with the love of a mother, or being that soft touch, people are like really love to be in that space, like who don't like to be a loving person. So that's the more you meditate, the more love radiates. That's what. And that all the people around who are in the co-creators world, sometimes somebody will go down, then they will always be up. That's what we are co-creators. And thank you, friends, and thanks for a lot of messages. Really, my wish today is to pass the message of Osho. He's not here, but through PSSM, this platform, and a great book club we are having. And that's my only wish, that we all act based on the awareness. So anything you do, question yourself: are you acting? Are you in awareness? Right? Are you enlightened now? In this moment, then take a call. And I get anger, but I always recall this and keep moving.